Okay, I'll ask the first question. Something that you want to expand upon from last week or disagree with, provide a citation. Any first thoughts on that? Good.
From last week. I don't know. Eddie's the one that was the controversial. He has the hot takes on everything.
He does.
Yeah. Repeat the whole question.
I said something that you want to expand upon from last week or disagree with. Provide a citation.
From our last.
From last week, yeah.
I don't feel like this thing I disagree with. I think we all kind of came to not exactly a similar conclusion, but we all came to understanding about each other. So I wouldn't say there's anything I really disagree with in our last discussion.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Oh my gosh! Just ignore. Can you just ignore the dog barking in the background? Yeah, I'm gonna put my microphone on mute when I'm not talking. But I think he's talking about from. Actually, I think he's talking about from like what we learned on our discussion group conversation, right?
You said, huh?
I said that I think he's talking about what we learned, not our discussion group conversation last week.
Like Amber brought up the last. I can't remember what else.
I mentally cannot think today, so I'm very slow. I'm not all the way here. It's bad. Does anyone have anything to say on that?
I'm trying to think of what we went over last week.
Amber.
She did the nature versus nurture.
Oh, nature versus. Oh yeah, what you call it?
That's what Amber did for the first discussion. But
she don't agree with it?
No. It doesn't matter if you disagree or not. She just found a source for that.
Oh, she expanded upon it.
Yeah. I just can't think of what we went over last week too.
Good job, man. What's the next question?
As I say, if we don't have anything, we can just go on, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Thoughts on the positives and negatives of sleep training? I find this one hard because, I feel like I've never had kids before, clearly. So, I kind of hate the idea of, kind of letting the baby just cry themselves to sleep because I feel bad. But I also wouldn't want to teach them bad, enable the behavior of the needing to be either rocked to sleep or, something like that. I feel like since Kate, you have kids, you might have a better understanding of things.
I don't believe that there is such a thing as sleep training. I mean, I know that it's been proven and it works, but for me, with my two kids, it never worked. So,
really?
Yeah, they slept great as babies. I mean, for the first 6 months, they're next to you in the same room. And then you put them in their own crib. My oldest, she self-soothed by climbing out of her crib and sleeping on the floor, but she would never yell and scream. My second one, they would climb into each other's room and play with each other. So, and their schedule changes so much. I just think that I never did sleep training. I set them on schedules, but it's hard to get a baby back to sleep after they've been crying for so long. because it gets so upset. So it takes longer to put them back.
What was the question again? I didn't hear it. Y'all started breaking up.
Sleep training.
Oh,
positives and negatives.
Yeah. Thoughts on it?
I never had kids, so I really don't feel like I can speak on that topic fully. But in the future, I think I probably would enable or enact at least a version of sleep training. Like if my baby is crying at night and I check on it and everything was good, and then I lay it back down and it keeps crying, I'm gonna assume that it's just separation anxiety, and I'm gonna try and probably train that out of them so they don't do the same, like repeat the same actions every night.
I feel like it's hard because I can only go based off what I'm being told. I feel like everyone also just has different experiences with children.
You said, huh?
I feel like I don't have kids, so I can only go based off what I'm like being told about through our chapters and stuff.
This is where Kate's expertise really comes in.
I used to get into the crib and sleep in the crib with them because I would be so exhausted. And then I would fall asleep, I'd wake back up. What?
Would they cry all night, or would they like just put them down
no,
and they went to sleep?
They went to sleep. I would put them probably from 4 months to about 8 to bed at 5 in the noon and sleep until 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh wow!
Because I didn't do nap. So for them, it worked for them. But there were occasional times, like when they got ear infections or they had a cold, that they would be up all night because they were cranky and they didn't feel well. So I would get into the crib with them and sleep in the crib rather than bringing them into my bed where they got used to it.
Yeah. That's good. All right, next question.
Okay. What things can you think of that can have a negative effect a negative effect on prenatal development / infancy?
Smoking, drinking, basically the basics, drug use, etc.
Depression, stress,
anxiety, mental illness,
AIDS,
HIV,
herpes,
STDs,
other like
STIs.
Yeah, caffeine is real.
Anemia, lack of feeding, not lack of feeding, how I say lack of eating. I think that's about it. That's about it.
There's so many factors that can play into this specific topic. Just about quite a few things could happen just to create pre-developmental problems. Anything else? Have something out of the ordinary for that one instead of something kind of basic? Not basic, but I guess easy.
Well, maybe after they were born, like that goes along with not feeding them properly, not spending enough time with them, leaving them on their own for a lot.
Negligence. Yeah, I think that basically covers up all of that.
Okay. Then
yeah.
Anything else your group found interesting during this week from the text from chapters 3 or 4?
Amber, did you find anything interesting?
I think there was one thing mentioned, it was very briefly about attachment styles, like wanting to form a secure attachment, and then if you like do one little thing wrong or you don't spend time with them, or the development it'll go wrong and then you'll have a difficult attachment style with. But
You're talking about how you said secure attachment, avoidant. What you say? Insecure, avoidant, insecure, resistant, and there was one more, I think. Right?
Avoidant? Or wait, or did you already say that?
Yeah, I said insecure, avoidant, insecure,
Okay.
resistant, and there's one more. I forgot the last one.
was it disorganized?
Yeah.
Yes, disorganized. Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know that they
Was it-
what? I find
Also the easy, slow to warm up, and difficult. How do I say temperaments for babies? I didn't really know that. I mean, you always notice like it's a difficult child or it's an easy child, but I didn't know it was like actual. How do I say realized terms and everything? I thought it was just more so mother speaking to mother.
yeah. It's kind of, I find the different kind of attachments interesting and the behaviors to recognize them. Anything else anybody found more interesting?
I
Okay.
thought the crying, like the types of cries that carry over in childhood.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting because I never knew that. I just thought it was something that I could tell with my girls that even at 6 months, I knew, or when they started walking or crawling, when they got hurt, like if they bumped into anything, their cry would be different than if they were hungry, or if they were tired, their cry would be different. And I didn't actually think that was a thing. I just thought it was something hearing every single day that it made me realize, okay, well, yeah, she probably just, fell into the wall because she can't walk, or she is hungry, or she needs her diaper changed.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was so many. This chapter is really interesting to me. Because I don't have kids, so like it's also good knowledge to have for maybe when I do have kids.
Yeah.
To be able to acknowledge stages like that, like the crying and what types of cries, and I guess if you can really tell the difference.
That was another thing that came in with the sleep training, was the crying, because you could tell which cry, like if you were trying to do that when you would go in. So if it was like a dirty diaper, then a new diaper, you could tell off their cry needed.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but that's just what I figured out.
Yeah. I think I honestly, it's kind of crazy to me, but I find it interesting the way how critical the time period is for kids and their relationships with people around them, how much it impacts their lives in the future as themselves. If that makes sense. Yeah. Does anybody want to add anything else? Because those are really our only questions for this.
Yep.
Are we at 15 minutes yet? Or 10?
Oh yeah. Well
Are
over.
we good?
Well
We're
over.
good?
Yeah, well over.
Okay,
Oh,
then.
good.
I think that about wraps it up for today.